どうして？
Warble's the guy where if you get him in
俺の
battle,
故郷は北の辺境でな。
he will do literally
由
whatever
緒
it
ヒンメ
takes
ル
to
の逸
win.
話はいくらでも残っている。
I appreciate that.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Faced Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Justin, and we are here with not the penultimate, but the ultimate episode of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Before we get into anything, of course, we have some comments, and I'm just checking now, and they all seem to be from the same person. Kelvin Cawthon strikes again from the Patreon. Of course, since we record these a number at a time, they're all going to be from different episodes. So, first up, a fatal vulnerability. Regarding the pre episode discussion about domination magic, I haven't been lucky enough to be dominated slash mind controlled in a D&D game yet, but I'm with Theta. If it ever happens to me, I will try my absolute best to utterly destroy my party. I'd be disappointed if they didn't do the same if they were.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
I mean, it's
If
your
you are hit with strong mind control and they say kill those people, you use what you have at your disposal to kill those people.
I feel like I'm just always waiting for my chance to be the antagonist. Even when it's like you're supposed to be the hero, you're never supposed to argue with the party members, blah 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 blah. Just give me a chance. Just give me a chance to turn heel, and I'm there.
You see, I'm living that right now with what I'm playing because it's something that I've played through before, but we had to merge two groups. So I came in as an evil character who was there because what was coming was worse. So everyone's all nice and I'm just weird. Instantly was throwing people off. Had many argumentative moments just because I could.
One thing I've already mentioned before, my all flesh must be eaten game, where I played the best good guy and then heel turned in the hallway and killed a bunch of old people. Um, but I am like the worst teammate in that I'm rooting for you to fail all of your roles all the time because it's more interesting to watch you fail than it is to succeed. Especially with this new fail forward mentality that GMs tend to push that, well, I wrote the story this way, so if you don't get through the door and I'm not good at improving, I don't know what to do here. So you failed your role, but I don't know. A guard opens the door from the other side, wondering what that noise was.
Yeah, I don't agree with that fail forward. There's certain moments it's cool,
I think I've
but most
mentioned that my the same thing that I say that I always go with whatever the dice say. I don't meta my own roles. I
yeah.
made a whole campaign based on the fact that one guy. I did a whole background rolling system before to help create the setting, and in the background rolling system, he was basically the son of the queen, so essentially the prince, by a very, very misconstrued system of body double impersonations and lost children at birth sort of thing. But
Yep.
I had the whole campaign set up that, okay, they're all going to be at the bar. An assassin is going to cast darkness on a rock and try and throw it through the window, and then that's how they're going to try and kill them in the darkness so that nobody can see them. And I rolled for the rock throw, and it was a nat 1. And I'm like, okay, you guys hear this clunk against the window, and suddenly it's nighttime outside for some reason, and you hear people yelling and running, and they just assumed it was an assassination attempt. And they ran out of the town, and I had to come up with some sort of weird cultist village campaign out of my
I love
ass.
it.
Yeah, well, I had to just like improv everything, and then in the week between, set up a whole. Well, this is the people they met when they ran out of town, so we gotta go with this.
That's fun.
Um, yeah. Up next though is again Kelvin Cawthon from the Patreon, The Height of Magic. We're in the final stretch. Third test. Here we come. What adventures await us this time? I think this comment was more poignant um, if it was given just before Here is the last comment, but it is a much longer one from the Patreon, An Era of Humans. The is Siri evil or not debate at the start was great on both sides. I can see where Justin was coming from with his thoughts, but I think he latched onto the idea a bit too hard. Just to correct Justin, yes, it's your turn now. Siri said directly that Frieren failed. Siri, I'll give you one chance. Tell me your favorite spell. Frieren, a spell to create a field of flowers. Siri, that's the spell Flamme taught you. How truly useless. You fail. Frieren, uh-huh, turns to leave. Siri, you won't even stand your ground when I mock you, etc., etc.
I did not catch that. That you failed in there. So thank you for that.
It's been a while since we watched it. I do remember that we had a conversation and you weren't sure about it, and I said that
Yeah.
she failed, but again, I didn't remember this conversation either, so it's a good reminder. Also, I'm surprised neither of you asked about the other the other second test passers, unless I missed it in the discussion. I know at the end of this episode, my biggest question was whether my boy Denkin passed or not. Well, I will assure you that I've done work on the board, so I'll at least have that conversation when the board comes around. I also may. Sorry, go ahead.
I appreciate Denkin and the other test takers. I don't. I think they were just here for the test.
I hope not. I hope they're not Steins again. People that we come to learn, enjoy, care about, and then vanish because the story says they've got other things that they care about. I'm sure that they will. I'm sure that they will because they're not traveling north. Denkin's whole thing is Imperial Mage shit, so. I mean, in regards to not bringing it up, I think we were like buried deep in a lot of shit is going on right now, and some of it's going on pretty quickly. Like everyone that failed with like a one image, they appeared. Like Lawn Egg just shows up and you failed. It's like, oh, okay, well, so just didn't really get a chance to think about it, and some of our after episode discussions don't really run that deep.
It's true.
Like, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it to you before, but if you don't hit me with something, sometimes I just I don't think as much as I normally do. So when you don't have any thoughts, thoughts just don't come to me either. You're the wall that I bounce things off of.
Understood.
I also may be reading too much into this, but way back in the second half of episode 1, after Frieren agrees to train Fern, she finds Fern standing on the edge of the cliff looking out to the target rock. Frieren says, "There you are. I've been looking everywhere for you." Fern replies, "Was finding me difficult even for you? Mr. Hyder often tells me I'm practically invisible." Fern then turns to pointedly look at Frieren and continues, "It's a very good thing, isn't it?" Frieren then thinks to herself, "It's true, I can barely detect her mana. Her control over her mana is exceptional." Okay, I only paused to see if you had any interjection there, because the next comment also continues with it.
Yep.
So, looking at this scene with the knowledge of mana we have now, I see two things. First, Fern has been constantly suppressing her mana, either subconsciously or consciously, since she was a child, even before Frieren came. Secondly, that pointed look at Frieren when she says, "It's a very good thing, isn't it?" regarding her being practically invisible. Does that wording and look imply that Fern can sense, even back then, that Frieren was also suppressing her mana? If so, even at that young an age, Fern could do something that, according to Siri, only the Demon King and Lernen, the most powerful first-class mage, could do.
I think that's not too far of a stretch. Because if everyone has their thing that they're good at within magic, right?
Well, we know that a lot of people specialize.
That's what I mean. So if we go with the idea that a lot of people specialize, Burns' specialization could be the suppression of magic.
I don't
And then
know.
she might be just in a case where she just happened to have a teacher that taught her the basics so well that people think that's what she's good at. From an early age, she's just been great
I mean,
at suppressing her magic unknowingly.
that is a common trait that a bunch of people have. The one thing. I hate to think that Fern was just the one thing.
So I don't think Fern's the one thing. What I think Fern's main thing is that, but she's developed into a more well-rounded caster because of it.
Well, no. I mean, like, I would hate to think. Okay, when I say the one thing, I meant like specialization. I would hate to think that Fern
Got it.
is a specialist, especially when her teacher isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's the whole point of Fern being good at the basics, is that when you're good at the basics, then you can round out and do everything. The same way that she got taught not to do like all-round shields, but to focus pinpoint shields. In that,
Yes.
you can focus yourself all over the place, spread yourself out rather than do everything. Or I don't know, the metaphor falls apart the more I think about it.
I think it's possible and very interesting that Fern has just naturally been suppressing her magic to not bother people without even realizing it.
Well, I don't think it's about not bothering people. I remember her parents got killed when she was a
Yep.
child, so she might be doing that as a reflex. Like, oh no, parents got killed. Suppresses her magic in like the same way that a child might hold their breath, thinking, "Oh, you can't see me if I'm not breathing," that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I can't. Maybe it's just me, but I'm just imagining the reflex to hold in your mana and hide is kind of the same reflex of holding your breath.
It's not. It does make sense.
And well, final statement. Also, the reveal that Fern could see fluctuations in mana, something no one else could do, gave me goosebumps. The error of humans, indeed.
Yes. That's also why I'm thinking Fern's thing is magic suppression and stuff like that, if she had a thing. Because the fact that this all-powerful person, as far as we know, is being seen by her is hella impressive.
Crap. I really want to go back to my comments here because I responded to that one because I did not think the same way, and I responded to it and I can't remember exactly what I said. Okay. So yeah, I responded to that one directly, and then I'm just gonna read my own response to it, just so you can, if you have any teardown of this either. But like I said, I think more articulate when I was writing it out the first time.
Yep.
I think I misinterpreted Fern's seeing the fluctuation with Falsh's misreading of Frieren's mana from before. In the previous scene, Lernan says he could tell Frieren was concealing her mana the instant he saw her, but Falsh didn't notice that at all. Falsh goes on to note that he didn't observe any of the typical fluctuations in her mana that everything with mana has and cannot conceal. The implication is that Lernan compared Frieren to Ciri, and that when Falsh is talking about fluctuations he can see, that his lack of comment about Ciri's mana means that he can also see their fluctuating too, and he seems to be human.
Mm, I think both points are possible to be valid at the same time.
again, it's what Falsh doesn't say, which is the
Yeah.
confusing factor. Because he says that everything has fluctuating mana and it cannot be hidden, holding his finger up, and his mana is fluctuating. And the fact he says nothing about Ciri then would lead me to believe that Ciri's mana fluctuates. He
Okay,
says
so but
everything, because he says everything with mana.
what I get from the everything is that is the general. It's that's like a rule of the universe. If there's mana, it fluctuates.
Well, anything with
That's what.
mana, yeah, and it cannot be hidden, is what Falsh says.
So that's what I get from Falsh's statement. And even with the cannot be hidden, it's more of a it's impossible to 100% hide your mana. People not be the people around you might not be able to see that you're see it.
Falsh is commenting about the fluctuation of the mana, not that the mana is being hidden. Those are two different statements, because Lurin is commenting on the hidden mana, Falsh is commenting on the fluctuation of mana.
Correct. So I think those are both sort of universal truths, possibly.
Well,
And it's just if you can catch it.
again, it's the fact that he doesn't comment about Ciri's mana fluctuating, implying that their mana is fluctuating as well, which is why it's a confusing thing for me that Ciri is so impressed by Fern seeing that Ciri's mana is also fluctuating. If Falsh, a human from scenes before, was also commenting on it.
So I think it's more akin to the idea of watching a master at work. Like if you have someone who's learning carpentry and someone who's a master carpenter, when you watch that master carpenter, you will see them do things that you're like, I don't understand how you're not having to measure this multiple times, how you're not having to do this. But it's because they understand it so well. But if another master watches them, they can pick out things they're doing wrong. I think it might be simply that type of case.
I understand what you're saying. I think my only problem with that is that the implication of what I was reading from the scene was that Ciri was saying, "Oh, no one else could see this," implying that what Falsh was talking about wasn't even real.
No, so I think what Falsh was talking about was real, and it's true that no one else can see Ciri's fluctuating mana. I think both are true.
Again, Falsh doesn't make the statement that Ciri does or doesn't, so the fact that he says everything does and cannot be hidden would imply that either A, he doesn't see Ciri's mana at all, which can't seem real, because everybody sees Ciri's mana. We see that in the next coming scenes where Ciri fails people for like being too impressed with their mana.
Yep.
Or Falsh can see the mana and says it fluctuates just like everything else. And I understand your point is that the Ciri is not impressed with Falsh saying that, because Falsh is a tier 1 magic user. It's a master telling another master, this is what you're doing, versus Fern, who's first time taking the test. It's like, for some reason I always wanted to use a Jesus carpentry metaphor. It's just like somebody learning carpentry walking in on a master carpenter and saying, oh, you're using this technique. That's something I developed on my own, in my own workshop as a child. It's more impressive when Fern does it, but the fact that Ciri seems to indicate that nobody can see their mana fluctuate just kind of throws Falsh's statements into the aether. It's like weird.
That's the thing. I don't know if it does. Either way, I think that's something that could be explored in the future of the of Frieren as well.
I mean, it really feels like we're gonna dead end here at the end of the test, so
well, I
certainly
mean,
not gonna learn it here.
Future manga, then not even an if, but most likely when it does get turned into show again. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is end of comments. how about you go ahead and hit us up with a recap?
All right. So the last episode was specifically a lot of conversation, but if I remember correctly, it started off with. Hold on, I'm gonna do this and throw my phone somewhere where it probably won't hear me. A lot of I'm gonna say Syri. I know that's incorrect, but I kept on triggering my phone last time.
I mean, that's a good reason to say it wrong on purpose.
Yes.
Assuming that I'm saying it right at all.
So, that Syri was like, hey, we can't do a traditional third test to her group of underlings because there's many people that would die. So it ended up being that she was going to do the test, which turned into interviews is an interesting choice of word for it. For most of them, it wasn't interviews. For most of them, it was walking into the room and them being told, go away. Or basically with, you fail, get out of my sight. We did linger on the interview with Frieren, which has been now revealed that through one part of Miss Dialogue that she failed her very early on, but conversation was had. Fern, however, passed, and then was offered to be the apprentice of Syri. But she said no because she already has a teacher. And in flashback to just before the interviews, we saw that Frieren already knew that the pass was coming for Fern, and basically said to her, "You can say whatever you want." She sees, but she's not blind enough to see the potential that you have. You're gonna pass. And it left off on a note of guessing we're going into graduation ceremony or something like that.
I'm surprised how much you left out. It's either that or I kind of tuned it out while I was taking my pills there.
What did I leave? What did I
the
leave
whole
out?
conversation about the favorite spell thing. Frieren goes on about why it's her favorite spell, and it's like, well, why did Himmel pick her up for the journey? Because you brought Himmel when you were a child. Which, by the way, was a very confusing thing when I was doing the board. It's like, do I throw Himmel in on a middle point since he met him as a child? And I think I didn't do that. But yeah, that's the spell she cast that made Himmel fall in love with magic. That then had him seek her out later in his life on the journey to be one of his party members.
I remember that at the beginning, but not after I had gone through going through the episode.
I think it's because as attached as I am to like Denkin and all these people that we've met in this arc of the story, I'm still always thinking back to like the untold love story that is Himmel/Frieren that we're still like figuring out parts of, because Frieren, as she said early on in the show, just doesn't feel emotion that way.
So, and now that we're going into the ultimate episode, overall the show has been very much somebody getting their life getting their life back. That's what I have gotten.
Well, I believe we also made guesses about what was going to happen this episode, considering that the next time on was just a gray screen with people muttering with no translation.
Correct. So my suspicion is that we're going to get into some sort of issue with Siri, and it's going to be a graduation type thing.
I can't remember what my guess was. It was based on the name of the episode.
Yes.
It would be awkward if we were to meet again. So I remember there was the element of the fact that it's worded weird. Oh, great. My name of my file doesn't have the name of it on it. It's not like if we were to meet again, or it was like weird. it would be awkward if we were to meet again, but in a past tense sort of way. And I
Yes.
thought it was like gonna be Himmel or somebody we've met now. I can't remember what my theory was now. All of a sudden,
So no, your theory was that was in flashback to Himmel.
yeah, but I remember I came up with like 3 different theories, and they were all
Yeah.
the same thing, but with like 3 different people. Because it applied to a bunch of like 3 very specific people in different
So
contexts.
one of your theories is coming back to me now with the idea that we're going to catch up with them, like at heaven,
No, that doesn't.
or
If that
at
was one of
one
my
point you threw
theories,
that
I
out
am
there.
disassociating with it because that's not what I think is going to happen at all.
Yeah, at one point you threw that out there.
Well, I can tell you that I'm willing to burn that bridge. Like, even if it does happen, I'm willing to say that I was wrong and not get credit for it because that does not what I think is going to happen or based on past evidence thought was going to happen. I just can't remember what it's like that thing where you thought something and all you can do is say what it isn't and I hope that somebody will remind you what it was. Oh, what did we need to buy at the store? Oh, was it beans? No. Was it rice? No. Look, I know what I don't need, but what the fuck do I need? I'm in that conundrum. So what I've done down here is I've given everybody that failed a red outline.
Got it.
And everyone that passed a green outline. Then I kept the little number that's really hard to see. Like if you zoom in on like Schraff here, he's got a 3. He failed in the 3rd round. He's one of the ones that walked in, and Siri
Got
said,
it.
"You fail." So we had Schraff in the 3rd round. Airy, let me zoom out here a little bit more. 3rd round. Werble, we don't know. He wasn't in the episode. I mean, he wasn't in the 3rd round of the episode.
Yeah.
Of course, Edo failed in the 2nd round. Bly in the 2nd round. Dunst walked in and got failed. Longe failed in the 2nd round. Tan in the 2nd round. Method, we don't know. Denkin, as the Kelvin pointed out, we don't know. Loffen walked in and got failed in the 3rd round. Richter got failed in the 2nd round when he got stabbed. Land, I'm going to go ahead and out here on a limb. I'm going to say Land is probably going to pass. It very much seems like Siri is passing people on their ability to imagine shit, and Land is all illusion magic, which requires the most imagination.
If I had to go off of who I think, if we're going into a graduation ceremony, who I think we will be passing is Ubel, Land, Denkin. I think Warble will not.
I don't think Ubel is gonna make it. I think something's gonna come up. Otherwise, I hope Denkin makes it. I think Methode, whatever, is gonna be in the same camp as Land because they seem to have a power set that's imagination based. You know, brain domination, hypnosis, etc.
Yep.
That's my guess.
So I think Method and Warble will not make it.
Oh, I didn't even mention
Land,
Warble.
I
I'm
agree
hoping
with.
Warble does. I hope Warble is the
I
same
hope
camp
Warble
as
does.
Denkin.
I hope Warble does. Denkin, I believe. Land, I believe. I think because Fern said no to being taught directly by Siri, I think out of spite, Siri is going to take Ubel as her apprentice.
I mean, I don't know how that works. Out of spite, I'm gonna promote somebody who's not you.
Correct.
Right, but you didn't care in the first place, so this really.
I think she's going to set up Ubel as a counterpart or a villain-ish figure, and antagonist is the best word for it, for Fern down the road.
Maybe. Maybe, but it just really seems like a really weird spite thing, right? Oh, you want to become my apprentice? No. I didn't want you anyway. I'll take the homeless boy off the street. You know? Okay, I don't care. I don't barely know that person anyway. It's like never.
Petty's a real thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It sounds more like a petty move than a spiteful move.
Yeah,
It'd be a spiteful move.
100%.
It was like, I don't know. I'll train Stark how to use magic. Then that would be spite.
I want to see that.
Pettiness would be
I want to
like,
see
fine,
that.
I'll teach him. I'll make him better people better than what Frieren could teach you. You know?
I think that's gonna happen.
I don't know about Ubel, though. Like I said, I'm thinking Ubel is just gonna get outed because nobody gives a shit. That or Ubel's gonna do something because, you know, the whole did she take Lance power or not thing.
Yeah. But that's my thoughts. Board stands pretty interesting as it is.
Well, yeah, and again, it's the ultimate episode, so I guess maybe we should just go ahead and get into it and see what happens.
Let's do it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Not censored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
私はフリーレン様の弟子です。
合格だ。次。
But I mean, we knew that already.
Yeah.
And last time, seeing the intro, that we still have to talk over.
Yeah, we do. Unfortunately.
I mean, just as a reminder, we have to talk over every intro of every show. Just,
Which is kind of crazy.
well, no, it's copyright.
Eh.
No, it is.
Yeah,
It's
I
one, we
understand
have
why.
to talk over the music, which I then have to also mute.
True.
But I also can't really show just all, you know, a minute and a half of visual. YouTube
Exactly.
will pick on up. Yeah, I mean, pick on up. YouTube will pick up on that immediately.
Yeah, YouTube isn't your friend on that.
But I mean, also, we've seen this, a number of times now. There's nothing really that we
Yeah.
haven't seen in the intro. There's no final episode reveal thing here.
Not that we're aware of.
Well, I mean, we've seen all of these scenes.
We have.
Right, so, again, there's nothing new. And that was our bland intro conversation.
宮廷魔
Indeed.
法使いの伝家。お前のことはよく知っている。
それは光栄だな。
軍所属の魔法使いの叩き上げが今や北側諸国で最も権力を持った魔法使いだ。その美談はよく聞く。正直、お前が若い頃に会いたかった。
It's amazing how
Oh.
he's changed, or how aged, rather.
若かりし頃に。
So the person we thought was Stark's brother was Denkin.
私は燃えかすには興味はない。
I don't think so.
He looked just like
そう思って
Yeah, a
Well,
lot
one
of
of the
people
characters
look
in the
like
opening.
Stark's brother. That's the problem.
今は違うのか。
お前、私を見たとき、どう戦うか考えただろう。
ほんの一瞬だけだ。すぐに諦めた。
合格だ。まだ燃えている。
Yep, so we got a pass for
そうは
Denkin.
湧かない。次。
I mean, I'd love to see Dankin fist fight Siri.
合格だ。
まだ
Bam.
何も話していないけど。
Well, I mean, once they introduced, I just want somebody who knows they'll want to fight me. Ubel would pass every one of those tests.
次。
Yeah.
お前、ふざけるなよ。
何が？
これは一級試験だぞ。 試験会場に一度も来ないバカがどこにいる？
一応この通り生身の僕も試験会場に来ているよ。じゃなきゃ不参加で。
この試験期間中、本体は故郷の村から出ていないね。
Never left your hometown.
今はのんびりティータイム。
Oh,
That's my boy.
驚いた。ユーベルにもバレ
I played RPGs that way.
実にいい度胸だ。
get it.
次、
That move instantly made me a fan of land.
北部魔法隊隊長のビアベルだな。私の知る2級魔法使いの中では一番の武闘派だ。私を一目見て勝てない相手だと悟った。
Ah, fuck it, Warble.
だがそれは恐怖による判断ではない。
勝てない勝負をするバカは2級魔法使いにすらなれねえだろ。
それもそうだ。好きな魔法を教えろ。
魔法ってのは殺しの道具だぜ。好きも嫌いもあるか。
合格
Oh, maybe you're wrong. Maybe Warble's gonna be the student.
Yeah, based off that interaction.
私を見てどう思った？
ちっちゃくて可愛いなと思いました。
今年の受験者はどうなっている？
Kawaii.
合格
Beautiful. Y'all are fucked. You're good.
全然
So basically everyone that we didn't know passed or failed passed.
確かに今年は豊作だ。
落ちちゃった。
次があるさ。
もうついてくるなよ。
I guess Land is a lot more safe hanging out with Ubel
フリー
then.
レン様、
Because
受かりました。
Ubel doesn't even know he's not there.
よくやった。
Yeah, that's incredible.
フリーレン、ここまで来れたのはお前たちのおかげだ。これで故郷に墓参りに行ける。
そう。
I mean, Denkin is a northern mage. It's possible he could travel with them for a bit.
なあ、
It is.
まだかよ。
Get both.
これにしましょう。これ。お、
ふむ。
There you go.
食べなさい。わしの若い頃は甘いものなんてめったに食べられなかった。
ありがとうございます。
I'll pay him for both.
何この状況。
Stark, who are these people?
若造も食べろ。
Yep.
ああ、ありがとうじいさん。誰なの？
宮廷魔法使いのデンケン様です。
宮廷魔法使い。お貴族様じゃねえか！タメ口叩いてすみませんでした。
かまわん。わしは魔法使いとしてこの町に来た。
でも無関係な俺までご馳走してもらうのは。
どうせ金の使い道などない。
ない。
Yeah, he's just an old dude that gets paid. He's like, I have nothing better to spend this
Ah,
on.
Jesus. You don't have grandchildren when he wants to visit the grave of his dead wife.
Yeah.
もともと体が弱かった。戦争に敗れた北部高原の辺境貴族の令嬢でな。あの頃のわしには富も権力も必要だった。それしか救う手立てをわしは知らんかった。ゼーリエが特権を掲げて大陸魔法協会を樹立したのは妻が亡くなってほどなくしてからだ。あれほどの無力感はない。本当に皮肉なものだ。今ではわしは国ですら動かせるというのに。
furthering my confusion about the organizations of the Empire.
魔法は清掃の道具でし
Yeah.
かなかった。フリーレンに伝えてくれんか。魔法が楽しいものだったと久々に思い出せた。わしは勇者一行のフリーレンに憧れて魔法使いになったんだ。
自分で伝えてください。きっとフリー
That's
レンさん
impressive.
も喜びますよ。
そうだ
I
な。
was thinking that was going to be one of those she's right behind you situations. Which, you know, could happen because she hides her mana.
I think she's meeting with
I think
Never
she's
mind.
carrying a bunch of
さすが
stuff.
は魔法都市オイサーストだね。いい魔導書がいっぱ
Yeah,
い
she clearly is.
Mages can float stuff. She doesn't have to carry
Oi, Baba.
anything.
このカゴに入れればいいのか。あれを無視はねえだろ。
私だって少しは悩んだよ。
少しだけか。意外なもんだな。勇者ヒンメルの仲間なら。
ヒンメルの仲間なら何？私の方
Yeah,
こそ
what?
意外だったかな。
I think maybe we're coming back around. Remember the first episode where people accused her of being heartless or unemotional?
犬とか蹴っ飛ばしてそうなやつだって。
よく言われるわな。単なる脅しだよ。まあ一人殺しておいた方が世のためになりそうなやつはいたけどな。俺は故郷の村を守るためなら何だってする。一級魔法使いになりたかったのも望む魔法が与えられる特権のためだ。強え魔法が手に入ればそれだけ魔族をぶっ殺せるからな。でもな、
Frieren does hate
それと
demons.
関係ない場所でも困っているやつがいたらなるべく手を差し伸べるようにしているぜ。
どうして？
Warble's the guy where if you get him in battle,
故郷は北の辺境でな。
he will do literally whatever it takes to win.
いくらでも残っている。
I appreciate that.
宣教の塔の攻略、七宝剣、不死なるベーゼや光極竜との戦い。ガキの頃の俺はそんな冒険探が大好きだった。でも村のジジババどもはそんな話めったにしやがらねえ。やれ村を襲った魔物を退治しただの。やれ
I almost suspect that Warble is from Himmel's
ひどい
hometown.
もんだと単なる荷物運びまであった。
I don't think it was his hometown. I think it was a town that he helped
We
out
saw a
multiple
statue
times.
in the middle of a bunch of flowers, which is where his
It's true,
hometown
but
was
we've seen
described
the-
as. Also, he has like the same hair.
Yes, the hair doesn't help.
勇者ヒンメルが死んで魔族の残党が暴れ始めてからよくわかったよ。確かに宣教の塔もベーゼも光極竜も魔王すら俺の村には関係ねえわな。みんな日々の生活を守るので手一杯だ。きっと勇者ヒンメルが俺の村に来なかったら世界が平和になってもそこに俺の村はなかったんだろうな。
そう。何が言いたいの？
俺をここまで連れてきたのは勇者ヒンメルのくだらない冒険探だ。俺が言いたいのはそれだけだ。少し長話は過ぎたな。結局あいつらと一緒に帰ることになっちまった。
You know, given just about
フリーレン、出会いは大切にしろよ。
one
今週の
person
別れってのは何も死別だけじゃない。いや、百も承知か。
from every group passed, that gives everybody an in to travel north. Or every group
Yeah.
of 3 to travel
フ
north.
リーレン、魔法で向こうまで順番に運んだりはできないのですか？
それだと私だけこっちに残っちゃうでしょ。
ヒンメル、俺たちは一刻も早く魔王を倒さねばならん。こんな小さな人助けに何の意味がある？
確かに小さな人助けだ。きっとこんなことをしたって世界は変わらない。でも僕は目の前で困っている人を見捨てるつもりはないよ。
I'm just reminded of
I get
Stan
it.
Lee's Who Wants to Be a Superhero, where one of the tests was having a crying kid on the side of the street that had nothing to do with the challenge that they were given. So the people who automatically ran off to help the kid, instead of trying to win the challenge, won the challenge.
今夜特権の授与があるのですが、同伴者がいても
I wasn't aware that was a thing.
It was a really shitty show. But I mean, certain concepts like that kind of bleed through.
すごく嫌そうな顔してる。同伴者ありって聞いていたんですけど。
申し訳ありません。ゼーリエ様からの通達でフリーレン様は出禁です。今後1000年は大陸魔法協会の施設には立ち入らないようにと。
フリーレン様が何をしたって言うんですか。仕方がないよ。ゼーリエの機嫌を損ねてしまったからね。
Like I said, petty would be the thing I would expect, not spiteful.
みたいな人だよね。まあ私も来たくて来たわけじゃないし、外で待っているね。
I mean, this is what happened when she first walked into this place.
俺も外で待ってるよ。おーい。酔いの金だな。
You know, I'll admit, I really thought Lernan was going to have a bigger role to play in this story when we first met him.
魔法使い。
Mhm.
この世界で50人もいない魔法使いの頂点か。フェルンも立派になったね。この時代ではきっとフェルンの方が有名な魔法使いになるんだろうね。
フリーレン。
嬉しいね。
そうだな。
It's all you can ask for your pupils.
Oh, speaking of the devil.
誰？
大陸魔法協会の人だね。
一級魔法使いのレルネンです。ゼイリエ様の弟子の一人です。ゼイリエ様がご迷惑をおかけしたようで。
構わないよ。昔からそういう人だったから。
どうしたんだよ、フリーレン。
やっぱり見えているね。私の魔力の揺らぎが。
Oh.
とんでもない手だれだ。平和な時代に
So
は
he even hid stuff from Siri.
そうですね。私は戦いしか知らない時代遅れの魔法使いです。ゼイリエ様にもよく言われます。魔王軍との戦火の時代に生まれていれば、名だたる英雄たちと共に歴史にその名を残したであろうと。
そう。それで私に何の用なの？
ゼイリエ様の弟子の中で歴史に名を残したのは、もはやおとぎ話となった大魔法使いフランメのみ。私が生きて死ねば、あの方が生きた証がまた一つ消えることになります。
Is he paying respects?
未来で一人孤独にさせたくないのです。たとえそれが伝説の魔法使いフリーレン様を討ち取ったという悪名である。
Oh.
手合わせを願えますか、フリーレン様。
手合わせはしないよ。
Took you a whole hell of a lot of time to get up there, Stark.
まったく。戦いしか知らない魔法使いは不器用な連中が多いんだから。
Dark, I love you, but you don't want that smoke.
ゼーリエはちゃんと覚えている。
I mean, not according to what she said herself.
最後に一ついい？この花畑、魔法で作られたものだ。
それがどうした？
先生が好きだった魔法だ。くだらない魔法だって言っていなかったっけ？
正直フランメは失敗作だった。 あれほどの才を持ちながら私ほどの高みへはたどり着けなかった。その後もたくさんの弟子を取ったよ。どれも私の足元にも及ばないままほとんどが先だった。だが不思議なものだ。気まぐれで取ったはずの弟子なのに、一人一人の性格も好きな魔法も鮮明に思い出せる。
Well, there's learning. Apparently his is a golem.
なぜか私は弟子を取って後悔したことは一度もないんだ。たとえ歴史にその名を残せずとも。
自分の弟子にすら素直に気持ちを伝えられないんだ。本当に子供みたいな人だよ。フリーレン様、特権の授与が終わりました。じゃあ行こうか。フリーレン様、その方の怪我どうしたんですか？教会で治療しないとね。まだやってるかな。
本当に不器用な人だ。あなたも私も。
I think we might see Lernan die.
Eh. It's probably less than we saw him right there. I just expected more from him than that. I thought he was gonna be more than just a combat guy at the end of the day. This guy just says the same thing to everybody.
This guy again! I love this guy.
Oh, I thought he was talking to some random person. That's dark.
これでオイサーストともお別れだね。シュタルク様はどこに行っても慕われていますね。
そうか？
ところでフェルン、
He's a hero of the
昨日は
village.
どんな魔法をもらったの？わかりませんか？服が綺麗になって。
Wow, that spell that we saw in the extras a long time ago.
それになんかフローラルな香りがする。
Holy cheese.
服の汚れをきれいさっぱり落とす魔法です。これで洗濯が楽になります。さすがは生ける魔導書ゼーリエだね。神話の時代に存在したとされる伝説級の魔法だよ。
That's amazing.
Well, I mean,
She learned.
It's also a spell you could easily sell the use of.
Yes.
当然です。フリーレン
She could pick anything and she chose prestidigitation. I love it.
顔していましたけどね。
正気かお前。
だろうね。
Well, I
いい
mean,
君だ。
Frieren lives in the world of like first edition or second edition AD&D,
本当にありがとうね。
where the spells you get are rolled at
私たちは
random.
不合格だったけ
So
れど
you're happy with anything.
Yeah.
Prestidigitation would be amazing if all you have is like
よかった。
fog. You
楽しか
know?
ったよ。
Yeah.
じゃあまたね。またね。
So this show started off with having to move on from people, and now it's ending with having to move on from people.
Yep.
ザイン様の時もそうで
But
したけど、
difference
随分あっさりわかり
having
ます
to move on
Just like with Sign and Craft.
from people with people.
Nah, it's not different. Remember, she had Hyder and Eisen back then.
True.
It wasn't until episode 2 we had to say goodbye to those
すごくあっ
people.
さり人と別れるよね。
変かな。
まあらしくないとは思うな。依頼とはいえ2週間も旅路を共にした仲だ。それに彼とは毎晩のように酒を酌み交わして、それはもう
生臭坊主。
そうだね。でも旅を続けている以上、また会うことだってあるだろう。涙の別れなんて僕たちには似合わない。
Okay. Eh.
だってまた会った時に恥ずかしいからね。
Yeah, I think I'm right. That's what I said. Just didn't happen though. I said it was regarding Himmel, and it was regarding Himmel.
Yes.
And it was
Yes.
literally a flashback. Did I say something about having to be wrong though?
Yes, but I don't think it was in regards to that.
And I hate endings like this. It's just, and then they had more adventures, which is like, it doesn't even set me up with a happily ever after. It just, and then more happened. Just, you'll never see it.
To me, I don't think that ending stuck.
It's fine. Sign. Damn it. Well, we're not done yet. Wait until we fade to black completely. I mean, I really like that. I really like that, though. After the fucking horror that I went through with Witch from Mercury, with the credits rolling, and then this concludes the story of the Witch from Mercury, and it's like, no, I just fucking wanted more. It's all I had hope for.
Yes.
Or at least this gives me something. The hope that more might come.
Yeah, no, so I agree with that, and I also understand this isn't the end. This isn't the final episode.
I mean,
in the story.
It is. But
this is the final episode in the anime so far.
Well, I mean, we don't know if anything will ever come up more successful. Well, I don't know more successful. Frieren is very successful in the modern age. A lot of very successful anime never got continued. So,
yes.
And I very much like the sentiment of don't cry when you're leaving. It'd be really awkward if you met them again. It's a funny melancholy way to look at goodbyes. So I like that and the overlay of the end credit song finally having meaning. Or not finally having meaning, but having a meaning that was ever present through the final shots of everybody that was being left behind that we just said goodbye to.
The meaning is contextualized. So the parts I liked about it are it highlighted the simplicity of the premise beautifully. And also it showed not even power scaling, but experience scaling. Frieren is actually farther ahead than Siri.
I disagree, but at the same time, we also got the whole 6 human mages have beaten Frieren before, and 2 elves, I think they said, which is the agreement factor on your. It's more about what you can do with what you have than how strong you are, because hands down, Frieren is stronger than just about anyone she's ever going to meet, especially, like, hands down any human. But 6 humans have beaten her, so.
Yeah. A lot of the goodbyes I was a fan of, and they were handled respectfully. But I don't think I think it was just missing something.
See,
and I don't know what it is.
This is the heel turn that sometimes happens at the end of an anime where typically what will happen in reactions and over the last 2 years will be I will hate on an anime the entire watch. This is dumb. I don't understand why they're doing this. The message is dumb. Blah, 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 blah. And then the end will come, and I'll be like, well, I really like the ending. Overall, I think I really like this show. And then the ending will hit the other person the wrong way. Like, God. The person who said nice things the whole time will be like, well, the ending is really where it lost everything. And it really brings down the whole show if you think about that. You know?
It's not.
I'm not putting that on you. I'm just saying that's what I've experienced in the past, and it's funny.
Hey, I'm here if that's what's happening. I don't even know what it I think maybe like a little bit of a trail of something else would have been in there. Maybe a moment of Stark and Fern.
Well,
or
you're obviously
something.
disappointed that it didn't end in a fight because that's what you've been rooting
No.
for. You've been rooting for it since episode 1. I think that they're going to fight the Demon King by the end, or there was going to be some huge
Yeah.
fight that you wanted. I think you were saying they were going to fight Siri at the very end.
At one point, I was 100%.
Yeah, and I said, I hope there is no fight. And boom, right here at
Would
the
it have
end,
been
there
cool?
was no fight.
Yeah, I think it would have been cool to see, but I'm not disappointed there was no fight.
I'm not disappointed that what I wanted to not happen didn't. So, please as punch. Look, all I'm left with, the disappointment I feel for the last episode is that it is the last episode. That's all I feel. The fact that
That's also there.
I think what I said was that these are the continuing voyages sort of thing, right? That knowing that they didn't, like, I was never going to be happy at the last episode because I'm never happy with the last episodes. Not because they're bad, but because I'm never satisfied knowing where things wind up. Like they could have showed in this could have ended with a flash forward to like Frieren's dead, Fern is an old woman mentoring a new kid, Stark is, I don't know, dead as well because he doesn't seem like he's intelligent enough to have a long life. I don't know. And then I'd still be left wondering, okay, well, what are the adventures of Fern's new student? I mean, I would never be satisfied. I'd always want to know more. I'm in the world now, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way as like I never want a short D&D campaign. I want a campaign to last years. I want to know what my kids are doing. You know, an Ars Magica thing where you set up a dynasty. I don't want a short little run. Same thing. So I am left again, melancholy. Melancholy is the word that comes to mind because I'm happy with what's happened, but I'm sad that there's no more of it.
I agree. No, I think it did stick the landing.
Well, you said you
I
didn't.
just think that something was missed. I don't know what it was, but I think there was something that could have been sprinkled on.
So you're changing your mind. You think it did stick the landing now?
Of course.
Well, you said you thought it didn't before.
No. I said I think it was just missing one thing.
Right. You said
I don't know what it was.
You said you thought it didn't stick the landing because it was missing that one thing. Now you're saying it did stick the landing, but was still missing the one thing.
Correct.
Okay. I'm just clarifying that you changed your mind. Everybody can change their mind. I'm not one of those call you a flip-flopper because you changed your mind. Changing your mind is human. You'd be a robot. You'd have to be pre-programmed with only one opinion to not change your mind. Yeah, I mean, it was an emotional episode, so it was an emotional-based episode, given that it was farewells. This is the reason why I'm doing things. Here's why you inspired me. Here's why Siri says things like this, even though it's not what she actually feels. And those are the kind of things that I'm not good talking about. I'm a facts and logic kind of person. I can say, I feel this way about it, but I'm not good at speaking to emotion.
I'm trying to think of where I would place this.
In what? Like a tier of shows that you finished?
Yeah.
So was it go on a scale of 1 to 3, because we can't count Digimon. You did not finish Digimon. Digimon is still being made. So
I'm not going to count Digimon in there because if you do that, you'd have to break it up into different seasons because it's different groups and all that. But yeah,
so I think we technically know you finished 3 anime now. So on a scale of 1 to 3, where are you?
I don't know if this is above Pluto. And it's only because this isn't technically the ending of the story.
I mean, I would say I feel like the ending of Frieren was better than the ending of Pluto, only because Pluto introduced end things at its end element, like right there at the end. Everything in Frieren felt earned right up to the end because the people that we left at the very end are people that we spent this whole end arc with. versus Pluto with the Thracia supercomputer just out of nowhere wanting to destroy all of mankind and enslave the United States of Thracia's president, and you know what Bora actually turned out to be. I know it's probably the effect of it being a short run 8-episode thing and being based on a thing, but still I feel like Frieren did it better. But that's my opinion. I'm not ranking on a 1 to 3. I'm ranking mine on like a 1 to 1,000. So
yeah, I think I would put it slightly above Pluto with what they've done so far, but only slightly.
So your ranking is Frieren, Pluto, Saint Seiya.
Correct.
I had to remember what your third one was. I was about to say Pretty Cure because I've been seeing a lot of that on Twitter.
I'll also put the caveat on there for Saint Seiya. If someone is like younger teenage years, Saint Seiya would go above Pluto for them specifically.
I mean, the irony is I've never seen Saint Seiya. I think I had to Google an image when you said you'd seen that before. And for some reason, I thought Saint Seiya was about a woman, too. And apparently, you say it's about a guy.
The main character's a guy. No, so it touches on topics, and there's a lot of relative, like, there is mature stuff in there. But it's good at going in on it, but hitting it just enough to feel it and then pull out.
That's always good to pull out.
So it's not too heavy, where Pluto gets heavy.
I mean, Pluto, I guess. My thing about Pluto is that you could watch it very surface level and not feel any of the heaviness too.
So so are you telling me that you could watch it and not feel when the kid robot shoots?
I'm sorry, you skipped a syllable there from your internet connection. I don't. You not feel shoots? I don't know what you said.
When the robot child shoots.
Oh no! I mean, I obviously felt it because we were talking about how much you would want to adopt that kid.
Exactly.
Right. But I'm saying I could see myself like lazily watching it alone, and it's like fuck, there goes Gershite, There is a part of me that could 11 p.m. half awake, watching Pluto in the background, sort of viewing. Because while the emotional elements are there and heavy, if you're watching just for like the plot and the story, then it's just motivation at that point. And motivation isn't as sorry, someone has a very powerful engine outside. I'm just hearing that through the walls. Motivation is emotion without emotion, right? Why are you doing this? Because you feel a way. The same way a psychopath would say why they're doing a thing. Not because they feel it, but because they know they should. Well, I mean, any other thoughts you want to get out here on the technically our penultimate recording about Frieren?
Yeah, no.
All right.
No,
well,
I think it's been said, and I think yeah.
I guess then if you do come up with any thoughts, remember them for our next recording where we'll come back with a character ranking or a character tier of Frieren characters.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, I guess that's it for right now. Once again, I have been Theta, this has been Justin, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?